What's going on, everyone? This is Mitchell with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great Monday, a great start to your week. We're going to break down what looks to be a severe weather outbreak for portions of the Deep South, really almost the entire Deep South. It's going to move Thursday into the Carolinas and so forth, but we're going to talk a little bit on that too, but we're going to really focus on what looks to be the potential for a tornado outbreak. For areas of Mississippi, Alabama, maybe Arkansas, Louisiana, portions of Tennessee. So we're going to break this down, show y'all what the models are showing right now. We're into short range modeling, so we really can focus on and really start to see how this is going to come together, what some limiting factors, what some big time factors could really promote maybe long-lived tornadoes, strong tornadoes, and this really looks to be a significant event. I'm not trying to compare it to 2011, April, or anything like that, but there is a lot of big names out there that are showing comparable things to that. So I'm not going to compare it to that because that was almost a generational event for you folks in Mississippi and Alabama. But keep in mind, we need to, if we're going to pray about anything tonight, I know we guys, I do a thing where I like to pray for everybody, and you guys reach out to people in comments who need prayers. We need to pray for them guys out west because this looks like somebody's world's going to end up getting rocked in a bad way. So we need to pray for them guys. Go on and pray ahead of time and really hope that this isn't as bad as what it's looking like to be. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It's an awesome way to support me and what I do here. And thank y'all for the incredible support. Like the video if you do. And if you're a new viewer, keep in mind my videos will get better. Consider subscribing. I talk weather here on the Eastern Coast, and I'm located here in Columbia, South Carolina. So let's break it down. So National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center is already, here we go, has the enhanced risk, and this came out overnight last night, so it's going to update again tonight, and it's going to show something totally different. We might have an upgrade to moderate. It's really hard for these guys to put a moderate risk at day 2, but this is day 3. We're really inside day 3 now, but this is enhanced risk. Keep in mind, there's 5 levels in the severe weather category. There's marginal, which is the dark green, slight, which is yellow, enhanced, which is orange, moderate, which is red, and pink or purple, which is high. It takes these guys, they really need to see the ingredients really coming together for them to put a moderate or high on something. But I can tell you one thing, if you got an enhanced at day 3, you're probably going to end up getting a moderate, especially this good of confidence. I mean, this is a wide area they have enhanced from eastern Arkansas all the way through Alabama, almost into Georgia. This really looks like it's going to be a big-time event. 30% chance of seeing severe weather inside these lines. The dotted lines, it really looks like it's going to be a potential tornado outbreak. You have enough mid-level shear, you have ample amount of low-level shear, and to really produce supercells. And the supercell is a rotating thunderstorms that can produce tornadoes, and this has that look all over it. So we're going to start off by looking at the HRRR model. And this is the latest long-range HRRR model. So this is the last long-range. Long-range HRRR model only goes out to 48 hours. So we're only going to see the tail end of this event. So as we're getting closer, what I want you to notice is a stream of moisture that's really getting going here and going over the same area. So really, it looks like the potential for flooding in these areas can really set up ahead of these storms, which could loosen up the soil. So any high winds associated with any storms, it's really going to loosen up the soil here. Luckily, we haven't had a ton of rain the last week and a half, so that's good news. But check it out as we get into the Wednesday morning hours. We're getting into Wednesday morning, starting to get into late morning here, and look at the very end. And I want to mention this. There's 2 things I want to mention here. One is the convection right here, the early morning convection moving through Mississippi and Alabama. Will that be some kind of limiting factor to the ingredients here? Will it help to stabilize the atmosphere? Will the atmosphere recover? Well, I think it will, absolutely. And what's going to happen here is you have convection firing up here at hour 48, which is early afternoon hours Wednesday. As this warm, moist sector gets going ahead of this cold front, and this is where your supercells are going to pop up. These are where your rotating thunderstorms are going to start to form, and this is where it can get kind of bad right here. So we really need to watch out because these little pop-ups, I know they don't look like much on here, but this is really where we have to watch out for these rotating storms to really get going here as we get deeper into the afternoon hours. So what we have here is basically the convective energy. You got CAPE, which is basically storm fuel, a component to the thermodynamics that you need for severe weather. Well, check it out as you get in time. You basically have a front draped across right here that's kind of limiting. And basically, it's because you have a cold air damming right here, draped across here. It's stabilizing the atmosphere temporarily in areas of the Mid-South. But what happens here is, wow, I mean, look here. It's showing CAPE building all the way to 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. That is ridiculous. I don't think that is like rocket fuel to storms, and that is dangerous. And what this is going to do is, as this warm sector shifts east, this convection is going to fire up. What I'm noticing here in guidance is the models have been trending a little bit west. What that means for places like Alabama is these supercells, these rotating storms, these potential tornadoes may impact areas like Alabama later in the evening when the sun's going down. Yes, time did change. The sun is going down a little bit later, but it's still not going down at 9 o'clock or anything like you got in June and stuff. So this may be problematic for areas in Alabama as this thing really shifts east. So that is plenty of fuel for these storms. Now we look at this right here. This is significant tornado parameter. Now you got to get all the way to the end of the run right when the atmosphere gets ripe. And right here, it starts to increase. The tornado parameter starts to increase to 2 to 3 to almost 4. This is going to increase even more as you get later into the afternoon Wednesday. And right here, I think it's going to maximize kind of as we get into the border of Mississippi and Alabama. You look at the next frame right here, as we're looking at different thermodynamics for the HRRR here. This is supercell composite parameter. So basically, this is showing the potential areas, highlighted areas where basically rotating thunderstorms, which is a supercell, could form. And what we have here is it's basically, it only goes out to hour 48. But you see, just in the early afternoons, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're already getting conditions ripe. And especially, the sun's going to start to come out in Alabama. I really think as you get later in the afternoon, this might be maybe event where you get tornadoes that really start initializing in Mississippi, but start going all the way into Alabama. So obviously the supercell composite meter is high. Now we look at the NAM. Now we don't take the NAM quite as serious necessarily, but you still look at it because we're still kind of in long range here. But it's still showing that moisture flow, a lot of moisture kicking up. And as you get into Wednesday afternoon, check it out here, you get these little storms. It looks a little bit different than the HRRR model. It doesn't have it still has that robust precipitation ahead. But will the atmosphere recover? I think it will. But it definitely has more kind of like storms that are a little bit more put together. They're not individual cells on the NAM, but the NAM also does kind of a weird job of showing a severe weather event, and it actually has doesn't have the main energy and the main storms really coming in to areas of Alabama until you're starting to get closer to midnight. So it's going to be something interesting to watch. But what you notice here with the NAM is it becomes more linear. Basically, a line of storms is going to start to form, and this is ultimately something's going to come together right here and end up affecting the Carolinas as it moves east. And that's going to be our big weather maker here in the Carolinas for sure. Now, you look at the CAPE. For the NAM, it's going to get ridiculous here. And as it builds here into the afternoon, check out the CAPE values, 2,000 to 2,500 building for these storms. And as it dissipates, as you lose daytime heating. So plenty of CAPE there. Look at this next frame here, tornado parameter. It begins to maximize as you start to get into this event. You get 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 values here. And it shows you where that tornado threat's going to be in Mississippi and Alabama for sure. And I think as the system goes linear, I think you're going to end up getting it. And obviously we're not in the NAM's range quite yet. I think probably the next NAM you're going to start to see the Carolinas here in the next hour or so. But you're going to see another increase in chance of tornadoes into the Carolinas, because what's happening here is it's trended west. So basically the energy is going to get into the Carolinas at a very favorable time of the day for severe weather, which is the afternoon hours. Just like you see in the summertime, thunderstorms don't pop up into the afternoon hours because you have daytime heating and you got convection. And that's, to me, that's not quite common sense, but most people know that most of your thunderstorms activity like in the summer or late spring come basically in the afternoon and evening hours. So look at the supercell composite parameter. It is very high. Like I said, supercell is a rotating thunderstorm. It maximizes really over here in central Mississippi and Alabama, getting close to Birmingham. I'm talking to you like Starksville and stuff like that. This is a dangerous look. So we're going to briefly also talk about the Carolinas here, because we all know the ingredients are really there. You got great mid-level shear. You got ample amounts of low-level shear to add to a crazy amount of cape that potentially could build. But what I want to show you here is the Euro for the Carolinas. It shows this coming into, I know this doesn't look crazy impressive, but this is an intense line of storms coming together and slamming the Carolinas as you begin to get into 18Z Thursday, which is basically early Thursday afternoon. This really could have strong winds with it. It could have some spin-ups embedded into the squall line, which can be very dangerous. You look at potential wind gusts, and let's see if I can get a pull up here. Give that a little time here. Potential wind gusts off the Euro, and it's going to take forever and a day to pull up here. Come on, baby. Here we go. So potential wind gusts off the Euro really highlights the potential for a squall line. Check it out. These are potential max wind gusts, and look how it really intensifies as you get into the Carolinas. To me, that's showing some kind of line of storms forming. So we need to watch out for that. I'm going to keep y'all updated. Thank y'all for tuning in, and everybody, keep your head on the swivel, because this is going to be a nasty, severe weather outbreak for sure. So praying for everybody out west, and thank y'all for tuning in.